Hey guys, how's it going? New video. Sorry it's been so long since I posted the last one. Just been dealing with some stuff. I sold my old Toyota like I said I would. Driving the wife's little Nissan now. Looking for something older and cheaper and more reliable. So that's in the works. I got poison ivy all over my arm, so that's fun. You know, pretty nasty little rash, but you know, it's not the first time, and you know, the way I'm out in the woods all the time, it certainly will not be the last for sure. So more exciting news. Come here. I got myself a new friend. I don't know if you can see her. This is Oreo. She's 3 parts poodle, 1 part Newfoundland, and she's just the sweetest girl ever. So she's gonna be my new partner on my adventures, aside from my beautiful wife, of course. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. So the scam for today's video is nihilism, the black pill. I mean, there's plenty on the internet about it. I don't have to explain the, how'd you say it? I don't need to give you the textbook definition of nihilism. I think we all kind of know what it is. It's the black pill. It's extreme depression. It's losing all hope. It's losing all faith. It's giving up. It's letting your environment crush your spirit. I mean, these days it's easy to get suckered into it. It's easy to feel like the world is breaking you, you know, for the average person. Just about everything is set up against you, you know. I mean, even for the most advantaged people, you know, life is tough, man. It's difficult. But in every living creature, there's a natural instinct to fight, to survive, to carry on. And the modern world has just become so extreme that, you know, people are that instinct is being defeated by the outside environment. It's really sad, you know. I can't speak to the situation of women as much, but I know that for men, things are tough. Things are very tough. I'm lucky to be in the situation that I'm in. I'm lucky to have a loving wife. I'm lucky to have good family. But it touches everybody, you know. You know, my last roommate before I got married. This is a guy who's talented, decent looking, but in his mind, the world around him is just so against him that he's you know, he'll never admit it, but you know, in my mind, he's given up. He goes to work every day, comes home, and outside of work, the only goal he pursues, the only real hobby that he actually focuses time and effort and resources into is gaming. And this isn't to rag on gaming. I love gaming. I love video games. You know, I'm part of the original Nintendo generation. I was, you know, one of the pioneers to sit at 6 a.m. when I woke up before I could read or understand, you know, playing Super Mario and Zelda and Big Nose the Caveman on my original Nintendo. And so I'm not here to shit on gaming. I love video games. I still play video games, but for that to be the extent of your efforts in life, and now if you're a professional gamer, then great, you know, you're making money off it, you're using it to be productive. But for, you know, for you to get your tax return and to put your extra money into a new PC, but not do anything to upgrade your life, upgrade yourself, it's pretty sad, you know, and it's not good, you know. I don't want to offend anyone here, but, you know, it seems like women today, especially American women, have incredibly high standards. I'm not going to get into that too deep, but, you know, it's almost like men have given up on that future. But it's not good, you know. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Good times are around the corner if you have your eyes open for them and you don't give up. I'm actually at the graveyard right now because I figured this would be a good place to shoot this video, because ultimately this is where nihilism gets you. In a minute I'll take a walk and show you something further, but just a few more thoughts. As bad as life can get, it can be just as beautiful, you know. Never forget that. It's easy to feel like that everything's bad, you know. It's easy to think that everything's a scam. It's easy to think that everyone is trying to betray you, but it's not the case. It's just not, you know. You know, find purpose, you know, if not for yourself, for something else, you know. Maybe it starts with a dog, you know. Obviously the best extension of that is family, you know. Have a family. Find a partner that you love and care about and that supports you and pushes you to be better. You know, I shit on, you know, corporate 9-to-5 life, but there is fulfilling work, you know, and work doesn't even have to be fulfilling, you know. It has to let you find the thing that actually is fulfilling for you, and that's what's really important. You know, where nihilism, you know, where the black pill gets you, you know, more often than not, it ends up in terrible addiction, you know. You know, it ends up in an empty apartment filled with fast food containers and empty soda cans. You know, friends that, you know, don't even want to be around it because it's depressing, you know. And when you're in that type of environment, it's hard to get out, you know. You look around you and you don't see anything worth preserving, you know, even to the point of, you know, it doesn't seem worth it to clean your room, because why bother, you know. And that's awful, you know. Don't be so cynical about everything, you know. Everything exists on this planet in a balance, you know. So there's healthy amounts of cynicism, there's healthy amounts of optimism, there's unhealthy amounts of optimism, you know. Being too optimistic can land you in trouble, you know. Reality is always somewhere in between the extremes, for the most part. So don't let it get you. Don't let it shut you down. Gonna pause the video because there's so many are visiting their loved one. I don't want to disturb them, but I'll show you something in a little bit. All right, so this is what nihilism gets you. It's my brother, Justin. My parents had to put him in the ground. My parents are still alive and they had to bury their own kid. And then eventually they'll all be resting together. This is what the black pill gets you. Just thought I'd show you that, you know, I'm not just talking here. I lived all this. So don't give up. Don't destroy yourselves. Don't destroy the people that care about you, because man, I barely got through it. You know, I was so close to giving up so many times. But I keep punching, you know, and it's paid off. It's paid off a lot. Thanks, guys. And the score for today. Today, fittingly enough, on a brighter note from what I just talked about. Dogs. I suppose that all the same stuff could be applied to cats. I like cats. I have nothing against them. I am allergic, so I never really got to know them that well. So I'm talking on dogs. Yes, they are a responsibility. Yes, they are an expense, but they are a gift. The ability of a dog or a cat to, I mean, spending time with these animals, assuming you like animals at all, you know, I spend time with my dog, or, you know, before that, my sister's dog, and I could feel my blood pressure drop. You know, they help you de-stress. They are companions. They're incredibly amusing. You know, yes, they can get into trouble. I actually just got done cleaning up some dog puke in the back of my car, because this poor girl lived on a farm, and for her 9 months until I picked her up. So today is only her second day of being in a car, and I should have thought about that. You know, she did good yesterday, but you know, she ate a good breakfast this morning, and she's great all day. And around 2 o'clock today, she spit it up in the back seat of my car, and I'm still not even mad. If anything, I'm a little upset with myself for, you know, forgetting that she's new to all this. She lived on a farm where she had free reign. She didn't need to go anywhere for anything. You know, the people who bred her and took care of her up to this point, they gave her shots on site. You know, they didn't have to take her to a vet. And she's not used to any of this. She's not used to the city apartment I live in. She's definitely not used to the city. She gets nervous around the electric doors at PetSmart. So she's got some adjusting to do. She's taking it like a champ. But what a gift, you know. You give a little bit of love and, you know, a little bit of resources in the you know, in the form of food and shelter and vet care, and you can't place a dollar amount on the return you get back. I mean, that's a score. There's what a gift from heaven. You know, I'm not a religious person, but for us to be able to bond so closely with an animal like this, it's absolutely amazing. You know, it's so wild to think of, you know, the first wolves or coyotes or foxes that eventually figured out that, you know, they hang around us, and, you know, they get food and a feeling of protection and safety, but they protect us as well. I forget who said it, but I think there's a theory, an evolutionary theory, that that having dogs by our side allowed mankind to actually sleep through the night, you know, and that could be, you know, that could be part of why we were able to evolve the way we did, you know, just getting a few hours extra sleep, you know, just having you know, someone watching our backs in the animal world. It's pretty incredible, you know. They allowed humans to get better rest. They allowed humans to do better hunting. So just having dogs by our side just propelled us forward in the big scheme of things. And it's it's so funny, you know, to think of a wolf, and when we took that, and now there's, you know, Newfie Poos and Golden Doodles and Cocker Spaniels and Pomeranians and, you know, Ridgebacks and Labradors and Golden Retrievers, and I'm happy anytime I get to spend time with a dog. I've always been a dog person. I've always bonded incredibly fast with 90% of dogs. You know, all my friends who have dogs, their dogs were, you know, they've always loved and remembered me, you know, even still, you know, even when I don't get to see my friends as often, you know, the dogs always remember me. And I'm just so happy I'm in a position finally where I can take responsibility, you know, and actually have my own dog. I had a little dog growing up as a kid. It wasn't necessarily mine. He was originally my brother's, and of course when you have young kids, it always ends up being the parents that ultimately take care of the dogs, and it becomes their dog, really, you know. So it really ended up being my mom's dog. Loved having it around, you know, just a great, funny, sweet little animal. And I'm ecstatic to have one of my own. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna get her a harness with a backpack on it, so I can take her on little camping trips. She'll be able to carry her own food, maybe some other provisions. And come fall, I'm gonna teach her how to track blood trails for deer. She's gonna help me on my hunting adventures. And it's you know, it's nice to have a good reason to wake up early in the morning, other than to drag yourself off to a shitty corporate job. A good friend of mine at the last job I worked, you know, he told me he was always up at 5:30 in the morning, because that's when his dogs woke him up. And as tough as it is waking up, you know, an hour before you actually need to get up for work, he was just happy to let his dog out and sit quietly with the dog while the rest of his family was sleeping, and just pet his dog. And that, you know, it makes so much sense. It's very real, you know. It's something to look forward to when you get home, something to think about when you're away. And you know, it gives you a sense of purpose and responsibility. I'm happy to get out of bed early in the morning, take this dog out, let her do her business, and then just throughout the day, just walking her around the city, walking her around my hunting club. It's great, you know, it's good for both of us. Spend time outside, bonding with each other, bonding with nature. Just, you know, any financial expense that a dog can incur, and I mean they can incur them. You know, I've had friends with dogs that you know, had cancer and stuff, and you know, it's hard for me to speak on it now when my dog is still young and healthy. You know, you know, a lot of people would just say put the dog down, but it becomes very easy to justify extending yourself or overextending yourself to take care of this animal that's a part of your family and a part of you. So get a dog or a cat. You know, you don't have to do anything I say, but it is a treasure. It's an absolute treasure that almost anyone can attain, you know. And it's worth any headache or effort. You know, of course you want to pick the right dog, you want to pick the right animal. This one, when I was first shopping, I was actually, you know, at first more interested. I thought her brothers and sisters were the cutest, but she came right up to me when they were a little bit skeptical, you know, which is understand. They lived mostly in isolation at the farm, so they only really knew the farmers, which is fine. But this girl came right up to me. She chose me, and that's good enough for me, and we're already best friends, I think. So something to think about. Take care of yourselves, guys, and have a good one. You know, give me your opinions, your questions, your comments. Give me your criticisms. You know, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I've dealt with insult and injury alike. You know, so let me have it, guys. And anything you want to hear about. All my videos don't have to be scam and score stuff. You know, if there's a topic you just want me to speak on, I'm happy to sit down and do it. You know, down the road, I really want to get into some of the more lifestyle-oriented stuff, the adventure stuff. Take you guys with me camping and hunting and canoeing and fishing. And, you know, hopefully maybe I can get myself a boat and show you guys what sailing is all about. That's going to be a tough scam and score video because, I mean, boats it's hard to own one without it becoming a financial burden. You know, you really gotta have money for it. And I mean, there's definitely going to be a boat video down the road, which I really look forward to making. So take care. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of your people, and be good. Take care.